Hey all, JTC here, and welcome back to another user-submitted gameplay review. Today's gameplay is submitted by Darky Boy, who is going to be playing Slayer using Coghammer and dual axes on Cataclysm for us. So thank you to Darky for submitting your gameplay for review, and let's just go ahead and jump straight into it by looking at the build that he is going to be using. Now, first and foremost, Coghammer and dual axes are not bad weapons by any means, but when you run them together, it starts to become a little redundant because both of these weapons are really good single-target damaging weapons. Coghammer's overhead has the damage profile of Kruger's Executioner Sword, so it does massive damage to single targets, and dual axes are, of course, single-target weapons as well. So when you run them together, it becomes a little redundant because, realistically, you're just going to use Coghammer 99.9% of the time, which really leaves no purpose to ever run dual axes. Now, on top of that, you don't really have any kind of horde clearing potential. Coghammer does have a horde clearing attack, which is just left click spam, which is good, don't get me wrong, but the problem is you don't have the safety net features that other horde clearing weapons have, such as increased stamina shields, increased dodge distance, or really heavy damage profiles like with the two-handed hammer, which is why when you're running Coghammer, I would not recommend running dual axes, but I would run something else, such as one-handed hammer, two-handed hammer, or even dual hammers. And then for your talents, I really only wanted to comment on two of them. For your level 20 row, you were running High Tally, which just simply increases his maximum stacks of Trophy Hunter from 3 to 4, and this is pretty much the worst talent in this row because an extra damage boost of 10% is negligible and doesn't really do much, especially when you compare it to Adrenaline Surge, which allows you to have your ultimate up virtually 24/7 within a horde, which is going to give you a lot more use than just simply 10% more damage, which is why you should pretty much default to Adrenaline Surge in every single build with Slayer. Now, you can run Impatience if you're looking to do, you know, like a meme build with speed with this and no escape, but otherwise, default to Adrenaline Surge. And then lastly, for level 20, you're running no escape, which some people do swear by, but I would honestly, unless you're specifically doing like a meme build with speed, with Impatience and no escape and extra movement speed, I would recommend always using Crunch, because Crunch essentially gives you a mini shout whenever you jump, which is absolutely huge for survivability.
Oh, shit.
So I really like this. You decide to drop down a little earlier in front of your group, and you see your entire group up here. And rather than just immediately going and starting to fight your way forward, you plant your feet right here, and you decide to wait for your team. And this is something that everyone should really do, but no one really does, because it seems super harmless to just walk down and start clearing out some trash in front of you, but all it takes is one silent disabler or one surprise horde to completely throw you off, separate you from your group, and kill you. So good job doing this and waiting for your group.
Oh no, a bubble gum.
Now, you have a Chaos spawn, and you pull out your Concentration Potion, and I think you're going to pass it to one of the two boss killers, but you don't, and you end up just holding on to it, and then keeping it for the rest of the fight. Now, to be fair, this fight did not need the Concentration Potion because nothing spawned. There was no hordes or specials or anything. It was just you guys versus the boss, so there was no extra supplies needed. But I would always implore you to pass items to potential boss killers if a boss ever does spawn, just in case the boss killers are going to need it. Because let's say in this situation a horde spawned, it would have been much more difficult to deal with this chaos spawn if the boss killers did not have this concentration potion, but if you did pass it to them, they could have drank it and deleted the chaos spawn, which would have made a very difficult and just a difficult situation much more manageable.
Ow, ow.
So this is just a really quick note regarding weapons. Whenever you're fighting any kind of berserker, but especially chaos berserkers, don't use the dual axes, but specifically use the Coghammer, or your one weapon in this case, because a Coghammer does much more damage than the dual axes does. And if you get a headshot, you have a very high chance of insta-killing chaos berserkers. And on top of that, the heavy attack has a very high damage or stagger profile, and will more often than not actually stagger the Chaos Berserkers and keep them staggered and allow you to kill them much easier.
I guess it is one of those. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on!
So I think the big burning question for the situation is, how could you have avoided this situation and avoided dying? And personally, what I would like to say to that is, you just simply got Vermintide'd, idiot. There was really nothing you could have done about that to avoid that situation. Now, it is true that we can sit here after the fact and analyze this gameplay and give other ideas for what you should have done, such as, oh, well, you should have pulled back with the Kruber. Oh, you should have pushed up with the rest of your group. Oh, you should have gone around this little cart over here and sneaked around. Oh, you should have tried to go around the storm and tackle them that way. Oh, you should have tried to pull back and do a 360 loop-de-loop and twerk all over them. But at the end of the day, as analyzers know what the outcome was and knew that the outcome for you was going to be death, but you in this instance did not know that, and you did not expect that assassin through the storm, and because of that, you just died and there's nothing you could have done about it. So just get Vermintide'd.
Another light rings the bell. Alas, we still have a way to go. I want more pace, more faith, and more death.
If it was a bit fast, he could get to me and I could have won.
I need
Never mind.
Now, I do know that this Salt Spire named Ratty Daddy, what a name by the way, is not you, and we're not reviewing his gameplay, but this is a mistake that I see made all the time, and I still feel the need to comment on it no matter when I see it. In this situation, our good friend Ratty Daddy is currently fighting just simply 3 enemies. He was fighting a little bit more than that, but in this situation, he's fighting 3 enemies. A shielded Marauder, a Chaos Warrior, and then a simple Leech. And what he wants to do is he wants to kill all 3 of these guys before moving on and getting the res, and these guys have spawned right here. Now, the problem with that is that by the time he kills all 3 of these guys, the next horde is going to spawn, and they're going to come from this way, pretty much guaranteed, and they're going to push him back down here. And then he's going to be in trouble because he's not going to be able to push up through this horde to get his team, who is over here where the horde is spawning. And because of this, what I want to say is you should never, ever tunnel vision on killing absolutely everything if you are the last person alive, because what you need to do is you need to push up as fast and hard as you can, and as safely as you can to get to the rest of your team and get the res. Your job as the last person alive is not to solo clutch kill 360 absolutely everything, it's just to simply stay alive, get from point A to point B where your team is and get them up. That is your only job. And a lot of people want to kill absolutely everything before they go to get the res, but most of the time, that is not the play and will lead to your death, like in this instance. What he should have done here was killed the Leech and then ignored the rest of these guys and dodge danced his way up to his team and get them up, because even technically, he only needs to get 1 person up to save the run. And because he didn't do that and he tried to just stay around and kill everything, he ended up dying to these things. But on top of that, even if he killed all of these things, the horde most likely would have been his downfall. Once again, thanks to Darkyboy for submitting your gameplay for review. If you'd like to submit your own gameplay for a review, be sure to join the Discord using the link down in the description below and check out the relevant channel for instructions on how to do so. See y'all next time!